bridge. And also, we have a module kwa ajili ya referrals. So if I have seen a doctor and my issue requires a specialist, kuna uwezo wa kuwa referred humo ndani ya mfumo. Kwa information zako, kwa authority yako wewe, unaweza ukamwambia doctor, okay, please transfer all my information to this cardiologist or this dermatologist. And it can be done seamlessly with just one click. Now, as doctors who are servicing their patients, they also have the flexibility. Tunajua kuna graduates wengi wako mtaani because they just don't have a facility to work with. Now we're giving them a digital space for them to, like a digital office, so they can deliver services conveniently from their own offices or locations. So you can see the picture. I think you can get the picture. Najua mko wachache, but I hope you're following me. Yes? Yes? Thank you. I appreciate even a head nod. Thank you so much. So our first contact ni virtually. Kwa sasa hivi ukienda kwenye Google Chrome, because it's a web app for now, because it's huge. There's a database ya medication, database ya vipimo vyote, database, and it's so big. So we're looking to make an app, but for now it's web-based. Na nikisema web-based, I'm sure most of you are ICT background, you understand. So you can just go to cloudscript.online, and then there you can search for any hospital. And then within the hospital, you can see the doctors available, their timings, their cost, and etc. Lakini pia, we work with not only hospitals, we work with not only hospitals, but also individual healthcare providers. So kama una ndugu yako ambaye amesoma, ana skills, lakini hana a place to practice, they can start there by having an online presence. Lakini also, we work with pharmaceutical companies because we do have the e-prescription module kwa ajili ya kufanya electronic prescription. Now, how the electronic prescription works ni kwamba, assuming I am a patient, nimeandikiwa dawa, I can take that prescription because inakuwa ina like a barcode, naweza nikaenda nayo pharmacy, wakascan, and then they see the display of who prescribed that medication. How often do I have to take the medication? The dosage, all the details inakuwa in one click. Lakini also, labs. So ikitokea kwamba nimeandikiwa kipimo, I can go to the nearest lab and then they can see, Beatrice nimeandikiwa nifanye maybe liver function test or kidney function test, and then they can do that, put them in the system. The doctor can still treat you from wherever they are, na wewe unakuwa umepata huduma from wherever you are. But we also work with specialized clinic, the likes of IVF. I'll give you a story of one IVF facility tunafanya kazi, who has been getting traffic of patients from abroad. You'll be surprised kwamba huduma za afya Tanzania, they're very affordable. So somebody who would want to do IVF ni upandikizaji mimba, anaona gharama akiwa US, it's too much. So they look for a local clinic in Tanzania, alafu wanaona, oh, it's actually cheaper. So they consult online, they do the tests kule, they share the results, and then they travel, wanakuja kufanya procedure, they travel back and then track the progress after the procedure. So you can see the medical tourism aspect of this, because payment within our platform inaruhusu kupokea kadi from any bank. Credit, debit, inakubali. Lakini also M-Pesa, Tigo Pesa, you can pay. But we also work with insurance companies. We do have an insurance architecture ambayo inaruhusu mtu kuweza kujaza insurance namba yake, itamfanyia facial verification, and then itampa access ya book appointment with doctors or a service. So you can see the amount of work and effort that has been kept into this to address every teeny tiny detail in the healthcare ecosystem. And for that, I thank you so much for listening to me. If you would like to access services using our platform, cloudscript.online, just visit cloudscript.online. It's the same that we use for Instagram, Twitter, and you can send an email at gwamaka@cloudscript.com.au or beatrice@cloudscript.com.au. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope you have a lovely lunch.
A round of applause to Beatrice. I'm going to ask you some questions. Yeah.
I get to be asked questions today. Yay. Should I start?
Yeah, Beatrice, you mentioned moving from point of care to point of need. Yeah. Can you share a specific example how this shift has improved patient outcome in Tanzania?
Okay, I'll give my response with an example, a live example. Kulikuwa kuna a patient who is based in Arusha, 18-year-old girl. Alikuwa yuko shule. Unfortunately, alikuwa ana a heart condition. And she needed expert opinion kwa sababu alikuwa ameenda kwenye some local clinic na akawa yuko misdiagnosed. There was something that was missing. So when we launched telehealth services with the Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute, babake akabook an appointment with a cardiologist. Akatuma majibu yake using the system, and then they had a discussion with the cardiologist. Cardiologist ameangalia that result, akasema no, something is wrong here. I need you to go. Aka recommend an ISO verified, or you can say easy labs ambazo ziko certified, what's the word? Accredited. So akamsuggestia aende kwenye an accredited lab, akafanya vipimo, wakashare majibu. The cardiologist akawa na a whole different opinion, akampa medication, and then she went back to school without traveling all the way to Dar es Salaam. So you can see how that point of care imepatikana at the point of need. So that's the logic.
Okay, thank you so much. Asante sana. Makofi jamani.
Thank you so much.
Our next innovator, tumesahau Beatrice, tumesahau kupiga picha. It's our usual. Tumesahau kuchukua kumbukumbu. Karibu hapa na mimi. Thank you so much, Beatrice. Our next presentation is from our innovator called Godfrey Tryphon Kihoya. Is Godfrey here? Karibu.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Godfrey Tryphon Kihoya. I'm a student of Kampala International University. I'm studying Bachelor of Information Technology. I'm a last year. Also, I'm the member of the parliament from Computing Department. Today, we just created a system. It's called SAT Portal of our squad called Cody Squad. So I came here to represent them on this event. Our system is called SAT Portal. SAT Portal, it's a certificate system verifier, a web-based certificate university. Navigation, the credential floods crisis, understanding the challenges of forged academic certificates in Tanzania employment sector. Technical implementation, it's a database design, security framework, and the APIs, integration protocol, system architecture design, technical foundation, and the innovative approach to secure credential verification, research methodology, system approach to development, testing, and the evaluation. The credential fraud crisis, understanding the challenge of forged academic certificate in Tanzania's employment sector. Kama tunavyojua kuna watu huwa wana tabia za kujitengenezea vyeti fake ambavyo vinafanana na vyuo vyetu kama UDSM, kama Kampala, kama NIT, kama UDOM. So tumekuja na hii system ili kusudi kuweza kuzuia hicho kitu. Yeah, the core problem of our system. The core problem, academic frauds, credential fraud is a global concern with local manifestations in Tanzania. Employers occasionally receive falsified certificates produced using graphic editors such as Adobe Photoshop. Yeah, causing mishiring and reputations damage to institution. Current verification challenge. No centralized mechanism, lack of widely adapted practical verification system using unique registration number. Let me go faster. The university capability, university maintain authoritative student record but lack of standardized, decentralized verification gateway that employers can quell. That portal API-based verification gateway is not a blockchain system, a practically lightweight mediator service. Verification workflow. Employers have his dashboard or her dashboard, then enter registration number of a student. That portal process, API calls to the database, then query student data, verification result to the employer dashboard. System architecture, technical foundation and the innovative approach to secure credential verification. System architecture or technology stack of our system. PHP, backend API logic and server-side processing. I do use the MySQL, relation database management system, JavaScript, jQuery, HTML, and the CSS, responsive user interface design, and XAMPP for local deployment stack for demonstration. Database design and the security framework normalize the schema with the comprehensive audit capabilities. Core database table, as seen like a DAL. Security framework, encrypted API, credential university API secret, stored with encryption. HTTP support admin authentication, secure super admin dashboard. Research methodology, system approach to development, testing, and the evaluation. So now we have already developed the system and we have tested. We created a mock system for the testing because now it is difficult to get APIs of University Direct. So we use the mock system, or we created a mock system for testing the callback of APIs of database certificate. Then to call it in our system, that is that portal. For specific research objective, verification page, develop a secure, user-friendly employer interface, API protocol, define secure integration mechanism, admin dashboard, design admin interface for university management, system evaluation, assess correctness, usability, audit capabilities, target population, and the sample, HR officers and the employers. 15 practitioners for usability testing, university IT administrator, like seen there, data collection method, system log, usability, expected outcome, anticipated result, and commendations for real-world adoption. Expected outcome and the benefits, transforming Tanzania credential verification ecosystem for employers, reduce risk, hiring risk, minimize chance of hiring based on forged documents, a special document of certificates. Increase the confidence, trust in verified credential authenticity, streamline HR processes, instant verification, replacing manual check. As we know, nowadays they have a many documents to check if the certificate is match, but if we have a system, only HR enters the registration number of students and the details of students will come to see very, very easy. For universities, secure API endpoints, standardize the method to expose verification service, reputation protection, preventive fraudulent use of institutional credential, standardize the protocol, replicable integration pattern for adoption. For policymakers, replicable model framework for national credential verification. Higher education integrity, strengthen trust in academic qualification, innovation demonstration. As we know, guys, myself, this system I can't to deploy myself without the consent of the government. So I came here so as to beg the government to take this system to use, because I can't to contact directly the certain university to take their database APIs to use in my system. But if the system is taken by the government, it can simplify the authentication of the students in the working fields. Production deployment recommendation from MOU is establish agreement between universities and the national verifier system. Strong cryptography, introduce the PKI and the signed responses for productive QR verification, expand it to QR embedded certificate verification, LOLO-based access, implement multi-admin governance of the system. Project timeline. Okay, let's proceed. Building trust through technology, a pragmatic solution to credential fraud, demonstrating how API-based verification can strengthen Tanzania's employment ecosystem, secure encrypted API and audit logging. First, real-time verification result. It's very simple, scalable, incremental university adoption. So guys, I presented this system kwa ajili ya kuyomba serikali ambao ni Wizara ya Elimu ikishirikiana na Wizara ya Mawasiliano na Teknolojia. Hii system kuweza kuitumia kusudi kusaidia employers ambazo ni sekta binafsi na sekta za serikali kipindi cha kuajiri vijana wapya. Tunajua wengi wao wanajitengenezea vyeti fake ambavyo vinafanana na vyuo vyetu kama UDSM, Kampala, NIT na vyuo vingine. Kwa sasa nimekuja na mfumo ili kusudi sasa kusaidia ili janga kutoweka. Kwa mtu akija na cheti chake ambacho ni fake, tunamkamata na mambo mengine yaendelea. Kwa jamani, binafsi nashukuru sana kwa kunisikiliza na naombeni msamaha kwa kupotezea time. Shukrani sana.
Asante sana Godfrey. Umezungumzia unahitaji serikali ikusaidie kuwashawishi university watumie mfumo wako. Lakini mimi naona kwamba hii pengine ingeanzia kwa employers. Umejaribu kuzungumza na employers kwa sababu waathirika wakubwa wa vyeti fake ni employers. Have you have a thought kuzungumza na employers kwanza ukaanza kutumika kwa sababu wao ndo wahitaji wakubwa na wanufaika wakubwa wa mfumo?
Ndio, ni kweli ndio wanufaika wakubwa wa mfumo. Of course nilianza na research ndogo ambao nilifanya kule chuoni kwetu. Ni kweli kuna waajiliwa wana vyeti fake. Japo ni ngumu kuexpose. Hata kipindi kile cha serikali ya 5, kipindi kile cha Magufuli, tuliona watu walikuwa wanatumbuliwa kwa sababu ya vyeti fake. Kwa hiyo huu mfumo ukitumika, kwa kila mtu ambaye atakuwa anaingia kwenye kazi itakuwa ni very secure, usalama, risk hamna, na taasisi za binafsi na serikali zote zitakuwa zimenufaika kwa namna moja ama nyingine.
Another question is about business model and sustainability. I'm sure you might be looking for funders or venture capitalists. What is your revenue model? Do the university pay per subscription or do employer pay per verification? What's the business model of your app?
Sijakuelewa, naomba urudie.
Nasema, nafikiri unaweza kuwa unataka kupata wafadhili waweze kufadhili mfumo wako. Nilichokuwa nataka ni model gani ya revenue ambayo unaitumia kuweza kupata pesa. University wanalipa au ni employer ndio wanalipa per verification?
Kwa kutumia mfumo.
Yaani mtu akitumia mfumo analipa, wewe unapataje pesa?
Okay. Kwa mawazo yangu madogo ambayo nilikuwa nimefikiria, huu mfumo kama tunavyojua start poto, ajira poto ni mfumo ya kiserikali. Ambao kama huu start poto siwezi kumanage mimi binafsi. Lazima uingie kwenye mandate ya serikali, kwenye mandate ya wizara, kwa sababu mimi ni ngumu kufuata chuo kukiomba API ya database kwa sababu zile ni details za wanafunzi ambazo ni muhimu. Kwa hiyo binafsi siwezi kufanya hivyo. Kwa huu mfumo nikimaliza, yani tukielewana na serikali unakuwa ni wa kwao.
Asante sana.
Nashukuru.
Asante. Jamani tumpigie makofi Godfrey. Asante sana. I think we're going to take a short break. We'll come back after 10 minutes. Enjoy your lunch. Tunachukua picha ya ukumbusho.
I found your letter. I found your letter. But the past won't give me a second chance. sound. Ain't no peace in this old town. She left her ring on the old wood table, said love ain't strong when the heart ain't stable. Now I'm here with a glass in my hand, trying to drown the weight of a broken man. Oh, rusted chains and whiskey stains hold me down, but I can't complain. Every drop, every sigh, still can't let her goodbye die. Bar light flickers, the clock runs slow. Same sad faces, nowhere to go. Cards on the table, dice still roll, but the house always wins when you lose your soul. Ain't no road that leads me home, just a long night and a heart of stone. Ooh, midnight hums with a lonesome sound. Ain't no peace when love ain't around. Smoke curls up in the neon glow. Bartender nods, yeah, he knows. Another night, another tale.
When it seems like I'm caught up in your trap again, and it seems like I've been wearing the same old chain, but good will conquer evil, and the truth will set me free. And I know someday that I'll find the key, and I know somewhere I'm gonna find the key. And it seems like I've been playing your game for way too long, and it seems the game I played has made you strong. But when this game is over, I won't walk out a loser, and I know that I'll walk out of here again. And it seems like you've been meaning to do me harm. But I'll teach my eyes to see behind these walls in front of me. And I know someday I'll walk out of here again. Yeah, I know someday I'll walk out of here again. But now I'm trapped. Ooh, yeah. Trapped. Ooh, yeah. Trapped. Ooh, yeah. Trapped.
Of love gone lost in whiskey pale. She walked out, heels echoing loud, left me drowning in this lonesome crowd. Jukebox hums an old refrain, trying to wash away the pain. The smoky bar, a lonesome tune. Whiskey drowns the thought of you. One more round, one more song, but the memory lingers on. Cards on the table, bets run high. Whiskey's smooth, but it don't lie. Every sip just fuels the flame. Ain't no cure for a love untamed. I could leave, start brand new, find another but none like you. Every road, every sign leads me back to this heart of mine.
Attention delegates.
Smoky bar.
Attention delegates. This is a lunch break announcement. As we enjoy our lunch, we continue to invite and engage and networking with our exciting presentation from one of our exhibitor. I would like to welcome on stage Mr. Abdallah Yassin from Alcan City, who will share insight about their innovation solution. Mr. Abdallah Yassini, come on stage, please.
Thank you so much. Hello, my name is Abdallah Yassin. I'm East Africa Sales Manager. Today, actually, we will discuss about the digital transformation. So my presentation now, it will show you how is the platforms, which it will show you the real platforms from all the projects which we delivered in Middle East and Africa. So this is our market footprint in Africa, Europe, and Gulf, even at North and South America. This is a sample of our clients from ministries, operators, and so on. Actually, once you have a product, okay, so you should have solution development to able to continue to the enterprise and data service and digital engineering. And after you have complete solution, you should train your staff to able to use these platforms. So our platforms, as you see in the presentation, it's contain a lot of technology like Esri-based solution services. Also, we're using the remote sensing services as well as Autodesk for CAD and BIM, and geospatial AI, and machine learning and deep learning, as well as we use the AR and VR to have like 3D view. And actually it will give the users good experience about the virtual reality. So let me show you one of our platforms, which it will be useful for all the organization, which they have a lot of projects in different places. So they can track all the projects from the office or remotely. And actually this is like one sample interface, all needed KPIs. It will present on these platforms. As you saw, it will give you a lot of figures, dashboards, and also for supply and demand as well. It will minimize the transportation cost, increase the revenue as well. For the permitting, actually, this permitting, it will save a lot of time to get permits. So all this you can imagine, you have only one platform to manage all the permitting process, save time, and also give good experience for the users. So let me also give you a success stories on the emergency response system. This one, we have already delivered a lot of projects since 2007 at Bahrain, and also United Arab Emirates, Oman, Egypt. This is like, once the incident happen, you just have to call 911, for example. You will see the police and the ambulance, firefighting, all they will come, just you have a call. This is actually like perfect platforms. On the environment, we have also a lot of platforms to serve the climate change mitigation and also risk management and natural hazard mapping. And we have success stories at the Environment Agency at Abu Dhabi and the Ministry of Environment at Egypt. And this is how the platform look like. For agriculture and irrigation, this is very important, okay, because actually this platform, it will guide the farmers to able to use the remote sensing and IoT to able to identify the area which it is good for each crop. So it increase the revenue and reduce the cost. And this is sample of our platforms. How is it? For local government, we have a lot of solutions. And these solutions, it is not only standard solution. We can set with a dedicated person to check what is the requirements, and then we will comply with all the requirements. So like as I mentioned, the GIS BIM integration, GIS portal and data management. And this is some success stories for Alcan CIT. We'll move to the urban planning. So we have a solution for land management system and also the performance monitoring system. For utilities, water and electricity, as you see here, we have Also project tracking, decision support system using the AI and GIS. And we delivered a lot of projects with Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, as well as with the Ministry of Energy at Egypt. We delivered 45 distribution control centers. Oil and gas as well. Also the transportation solutions, smart ports and traffic management, virtual ports, all these solutions, actually it is good even for the digital twin and some success stories and how our platform, it can produce building land use extensions like using the Geo AI. And this is digital twin. The digital twin, it is something like you have a generation for the electricity and you need to have it on the, you need to see it from the office to track all the meters and everything so you can manage and control it from remotely places. Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. You need to stand there and take a picture.
Okay, no problem. Just deliver the mic. Sir. Thank you, sir.
You need to stand over here.
Summit point. You are for the summit point. Display QR code at summit point. Summit point. Rion.
Now that we've had lunch, we start with our next presentation. This is geospatial use cases and tools for revenue collection in Tanzania. This is going to be moderated by Professor Ali Namangaya. Prof. Upo. So Antidius, you're stepping in for Prof. Ndo manake. Karibu sana. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, so before we get started, my name is Antidius Kamala. I'm the Executive Director of Root.js. I'm doing everything in geospatial. So when you see my face again, something that should come in your mind is maps, geospatial data. Before we get started, I want to tell your friend or your closest neighbor that Tanzania ya kidigitali inawezekana. Can you do that for me? No. Tanzania kidigitali? Tanzania kidigitali? No, can we do with our legs? Tanzania kidigitali? No, that is not enough. Tanzania kidigitali. Tanzania kidigitali. Can we do it once more? Tanzania kidigitali. Tanzania kidigitali inawezekana, and geospatial is here. So yesterday we had an amazing presentations concerning the geospatial, and one of the things that we agreed upon is that geospatial should not be treated as a tool, but it is a profession that should be mainstreamed kwenye kila sekta yenye mtu wa ICT, kwenye kila ofisi yenye mwasibu inamhitaji mtu wa geospatial. And today I will be talking about on how geospatial can be used for revenue collection. We all know that we cannot measure what we don't see. We can't. We cannot really measure what we don't see. And all measurements of revenue are spatial related. Land, housing, properties, infrastructure are all physical. If we don't have the robust systems, if we don't have enough data, it means we are prone to missing out huge amount of tasks that is to be collected. We are missing out a bigger number of staffs. So I'm going to call upon a very enthusiastic, a very pragmatic, and a very owned in this sector that has done a lot in digitizing property using the geospatial technology. Can we put our hands together for Mr. Curtis? Curtis works at the African Urban Labs based in Zanzibar. He'll give us a little bit of his introduction and what he has done towards the geospatial across property tax management. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for the introduction. And of course, I just exited out of my tablet. There we go. Do I get a clicker for these slides, or how does this work? Here we go. Thanks. Okay. Great. Habari. Habari za leo. Day 4. It sounds like day 4. I'm going to try and keep this light and quick. As mentioned in the introduction, I'm going to go over property taxation. Property taxation and other forms of domestic revenue mobilization are increasingly important, especially after 2025 and a lot of the retrenchment we saw around aid that's going to affect government budgets across this continent and more broadly across the world. So I'm going to focus on, as I said, property taxation and how it can drive municipal revenue. In particular, I'm going to dive into a case study of a successful points-based property taxation reform that was implemented in the capital of Sierra Leone in the city of Freetown. Before I dive into the case study, I did just want to first say a few words about the Africa Urban Lab, which is where I'm based. I'm founder and director of the Africa Urban Lab. It's a research center based out of a new university here in Tanzania in Zanzibar called the African School of Economics Zanzibar. The lab, we focus on incredibly rapid urbanization taking place across the entire continent. And in particular, we are focused on these 3 key activities that you see on the slide here. So one is education and training. We have a professional diploma in urban development that we offer. About a third of our students are actually Tanzanians. So they come from Ardi University, they come from University of Dodoma, University of Dar es Salaam, and they also include a bunch of senior urban planners from across secondary cities from across the country, as well as a lot of other East African countries, and so 50 students from 15 countries across the continent. In addition to education and training, we do research, right? We are headquarters and based at a university, so we do pursue frontier urban research. And then thirdly, and most importantly, for this conversation is we do policy implementation work. We have 3 different policy implementation arms, but most relevant for today is our urban finance program, which I'm going to talk a bit more about that now, because we do focus on property taxation. We focus especially on replicating and scaling up this hugely impactful property tax reform that was implemented in Freetown several years ago now, and I'm going to dive into this reform now. This ordering is slightly altered because it is day 4 and you guys are tired of hearing a bunch of conversations. I've moved the results to the top so that you all get to hear at the beginning of the presentation how much money your cities can make. And my hope is the money will make you pay attention to the rest of the presentation. So I'm going to start with results, and then I'm going to go into what motivated this reform in the first place from the mayor's perspective in Freetown, what the reform entailed, and then some challenges and lessons. Okay, so first in terms of results, what happened when this reform was implemented? So first of all, it was implemented back in 2018, and within 2 fiscal years, some amazing impacts were already being felt. So the property registry more than tripled in size, so from 57,000 households to 170,000 households were on the property registry, not 2 fiscal years after implementation. And then secondly, and I think most importantly for this chat, is revenue increased by 5x. So a 400% increase in municipal revenue in 2 fiscal years, and we'll dive into how this happened. This was all with a tax compliance rate of only 30%, so tax compliance is still low, and they still managed to 5x revenue. I think this was largely due to 2 factors. One is this updated property registry, so the registry included much more of the actual number of households in the city boundaries. And then secondly, and this is the biggest thing we'll focus on for this presentation, is an updated method for property valuation that was fitting for the capacity of Freetown tax officials. So this implementation was so successful, it's since been scaled up across Sierra Leone. So Kenema, for example, here you'll see in 1 fiscal year, it's with this same approach, doubled its municipal revenues, and the national government, seeing these successes in some cities, has now gotten behind an entire national-wide rollout of this system, and then it's also being implemented in other countries. Our hope at the Africa Urban Lab is to bring it to East Africa, and we're located in Zanzibar. We're talking to the Zanzibar Revenue Authority. The hope is if any of you are involved with municipal work across Tanzania, please come and tap me on the shoulder afterwards, and we can chat more about how this could help your city. Okay, so talking about the results, let's move on to what motivated the reform. So very simply, Mayor Aki Sawyer, she was elected on a very ambitious progressive agenda called the Transform Freetown Agenda in 2018. She very quickly realized upon taking office, she isn't going to accomplish any of this agenda if she has no money to do it. And so priority number 1 became raising some more revenue so that she could accomplish all the things she had been elected to do. So the need for money, in particular, and this isn't unique to Freetown, across cities, across the entire continent, 2 things are true. One is own source revenue, that's OSR. Own source revenue is incredibly limited. And secondly, that means these cities rely mostly, at 75 to 85% of their municipal budgets, rely mostly on transfers from the central government. That's intergovernmental fiscal transfers, IGFT. Those transfers from the central government are oftentimes unreliable. They're oftentimes delayed, and so it's difficult at the local level, at the municipal level, to do a lot of planning around delayed transfers from the center. And so to grapple with this, she made it a priority. The first thing she was going to do is figure out ways to increase Freetown's own source revenue, and this property tax reform was how she decided to do it. I'm not going to go into all of these steps. Instead, I'll just sort of tell the story. Mayor Aki Sawyer, she got together not just a domestic team, with her Freetown City Council in Freetown, but she also got together an international team. Together, they realized that in 2018, satellite imagery data, the quality had improved enough such that you could get an accurate picture at a granular level of each and every property within a city like Freetown. So number one, accuracy had improved immensely. And number two, and crucially, at the same time, costs of this satellite data had come down precipitously in recent years, right? So the two combined, increased accuracy and significantly reduced costs, opens the door for a low-income city like the city of Freetown to use this satellite imagery for something like property taxation. So the team, both the domestic team and the international team, acquired some satellite imagery data that gave the entire team a bird's eye digital view of all the properties in the city of Freetown. And they came up with this algorithm that allowed them to zoom in to individual properties. With the satellite imagery, you can pick up different individual characteristics of each of those properties. So things like what is the quality of the building structure? You know, is the roof made of metal or palm fronds? How many stories is the building? How big is the plot that the building is on? And with all of these individual characteristics, the algorithm spit out a number. This is why it's called a points-based property system. So it spit out a point number, and if that number was very high, it indicated the property value was very high, and so that property was taxed at a high level. If it was a middling number that was spit out, that property was taxed at a middling number. Below a certain threshold, the property was of such low value that it just wasn't taxed. And so this is lent the reform a lot of progressivity. It was an equitable property tax reform. So I'm gonna zoom into, okay, I'm gonna try and go quick here. I'm gonna zoom in particularly very quickly to number 3, the valuation. There are different approaches to valuation, all the way from the your left-hand side, a flat rate is extremely regressive, right? So this is just applying the same rate to all properties. This is regressive because you know, someone in a mansion is gonna pay the same property tax as someone in a less valuable property, and that's not super equitable. All the way to the other end, the right side of the graph, which is market-based taxation. This is based on market rates of a property. This is great and it's efficient, but market-based valuation is extremely technically demanding, right? So you basically need up-to-date dynamic data on up-to-date values of property transactions. Most cities do not have this data available. So the question became, how can we get close to market rate valuation without requiring all of the sort of sophisticated technical approaches that market-based valuation requires? And the answer was this points-based valuation system with computer-assisted mass appraisal. This is the sort of digital bird's eye view, the use of satellite imagery data to come up with approximations per property value using individual characteristics of the property. This is an easier approach. It doesn't require the hiring of a mass army of expensive valuers to go out across the city and value properties. It doesn't require even the setting up of an addressing system, which often can be super time intensive and expensive, and it's less prone to individual human manipulation because you're using computer assisted mass appraisal. So just zooming ahead, very quickly, some challenges that this reform encountered. One of the biggest challenges was around some contestation between the central government and the local government. Oftentimes, and this is true throughout the continent, some politicians can use a mayorship or a local government position as a stepping stone to higher national office, and they can oftentimes be opposition party members, and so central government might not let or allow these opposition member mayors to pursue these reforms that might put them in a better position in future elections to defeat some of the central government officials. So this was one thing, is just that there was contestation between the local and the central government. The second was they had to rebuild the social contract such that if these citizens came and voluntarily paid taxes, they could expect commensurate benefits in return for paying those taxes, things like waste collection, roads provision, and the like. I'm going to skip over the 3 and 4 because I'm getting whispers from behind me that I'm well over time. And I would just say the two big learnings were a simplified approach that meets city governments at the capacity that they're currently at is the best approach. If you do not prioritize low cost and a simplified approach, what ends up happening is implementation is significantly adversely affected. And so we prioritize those things in Freetown, and it had great effect. We hope to scale up and replicate that success here in Tanzania and beyond. So with that, thank you very much. Like I said, if you do or you are interested in this, please do come chat with me after the panel. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Do I sit here or do I come?
Sit there. Okay, thank you, Curtis, for that, for the nice presentation. And the next panelist to come on stage is Mr. Zahran Mohammed from Zanzibar. They have done a very great job on solving the fragmentation of data government in the community. So welcome on stage and give a hand, so please.
Good afternoon. So, as it has been said, my name is Mohammed Zahran, and I work at the project in Zanzibar Ministry of Finance. It's called Boosting Inclusive Growth. It's an integrated development project that is World Bank funded, and it does a lot of infrastructure in one component, like building roads and drainages and upgrading urban spaces, as well as on the second pillar, a lot of capacity building. It's called institutional strengthening, and in that it encourages or help to use technology or to make sure that technology is utilized to bring about sustainability of the infrastructure that is being implemented, in such that the main beneficiaries are local governments. So most of the area that we are focusing on is making sure that the own source revenues of the local governments in Zanzibar, who are the main beneficiaries of these infrastructure projects, are going to be sustained through their own sources. So this calls for innovative measures or solutions, such as the one we've seen here regarding property taxation, but also on other areas of the financing to be digitized, sort of. So this is what we basically do in Big Z project. My background is in civil engineering and computer science long time ago, but eventually I pivoted into a GIS, and I also have MBA in IT management. So the topic for today is how this GIS matters in local government revenue, or in revenue as well. So we agree that GIS, it can boost revenue by identifying and managing assets themselves. So as we have seen in the previous presentation, there is automation now, but originally people had to go, as a presentation from yesterday, physically map these things, but now we can do it digitally, as well as by using a remote solution like remote sensing. We also use this to skip for the next. Thank you. I'm still on the first one, luckily. And the revenue workflow, we say we cannot have just the solution itself in GIS, but the solutions has to be tied with something that people are aware of, or something that interesting, especially to the government, like the revenue. So this revenue workflow must be tied into the GIS itself, such as parcels, buildings, land use itself, and addressing. And why do we still need this GIS and NSDI? I'll tell you about NSDI in the next slide, I guess. We also have a problem in coordination of this. It used to be the people who are doing GIS has to come from the Ministry of Land, has to have authority over mapping. But when it comes to certain decision making like the revenue, it didn't have to. So this is where the technology came in and GIS. So the challenge was having duplicated, inconsistent data that had impact on the revenue themselves. So why it matters from the revenue side, this will help in the 4 areas or 4 assessment pillars that we are looking at: the legal mandate, the governance, data standards and sharing, and revenue readiness. The legal mandate meaning that who has this responsibility to task people to share, because most of this data are very personalized, but we also have seen in the previous presentation, people are worried about the security, the privacy. So somebody, as long as this is a government's data, they should have authority on tasking people on the sharing itself. And this is where we bring the second pillar or assessment of it, governance. The governance should be, how do we do it? We do central repository for all the national data, or we have it from different locations, whether regionally or thematic, depending upon who is interested in using what standards, of course. And then we have to have data and standard itself, so it's rules. Metadata. Metadata is about the data itself. You have a photograph, but you need to know who took it and from at what time and at what resolution. And also important is interoperability. So how we integrate these systems of GIS into other systems. So this need to be assessed as well. For comparison as well, we have many use cases, but as we have already seen here, most people are interested in revenue, and I have rightly introduced myself. I'm working with the government or local government revenue, so the revenue readiness, how we link these solutions into valuation, billing, and compliances as we go. Yeah, so in this institutional comparison that we are doing, do I have a problem with my presentation? I think I've moved it to the... So that was the comparison framework that I did, and this is the things in a very high level that we have discovered. Zanzibar is somewhat semi-structured coordination via ZAN-SDI, what we call ZAN-SDI, and this gives it stronger interoperability focus, as well as building revenue linkage, which is where taxation is done. And on Tanzania, it's broader and distributed coordination. Of course, it's under the Ministry of Lands in Tanzania, but also because local government is using it a lot, there are some overlapping roles in terms of standards and also in implementation stages that we are doing. So in Zanzibar, we have leading agencies such as Commission for Lands, so it's a local one, a small one, and we also have Office of Chief Government Statistician on the other, but they're all coordinated under Zanzibar Planning Commission, which has this legal mandate to ask for data and has this mandate to task anyone to share this data. And for Tanzania, as you've seen, the key institution is Ministry of Land so far. So what are challenges? So the challenges are mainly these 4. We have many, but the enforcement of sharing is difficult. And this is where we're coming in with a solution that we call NSDI. We have duplicate and inconsistent data set. One organization will have its own data. The same boundary that the local government use will be different from the one that the Ministry of Health is using. We also have GIS units disconnected from the finance and revenue workflow, as we have said. but also limited capacity and budget. So this is budget, this is where financing is coming from. So we have people who want to do work, but they are not capacitated enough to be able to do this. So what is our ideal situation? We should have at least 3 things. We should have a trusted base map, a minimal one that we call, that we can trust, that is organized, like parcels, building, road, and infrastructure. And it should be interoperable, because people has to connect this, because everybody has got their own statistics. But if you want this tabular statistic to be viewed or visualized beautifully in the maps, you must have some kind of connection to these digitized maps that Antidius is preparing for us. And we should have clear governance role. So this is where most challenges are coming from. We've heard in the last 2 days about trust, about security. So we need clear governance. As long as this is government data to be shared among government agencies and some part to the private agencies, we should have clear roles on who own, who validate, and who update. So what are the key action we should take? We need to have this NSDI, National Spatial Data Infrastructure, that will be enforcing standards as well. We establish this national minimum data set, as well as we integrate GIS into billing and workflow. So my final statement is, in conclusion, we say that we have a problem that if we don't have a source of truth, we cannot legally or equitably, as has been said, to collect revenue. So we must have this. And this does not just include a name and a street name. We must know the location of these people as well, or these businesses. So the insight gave us that Zanzibar has taken the approach of centralized. So where ownership is given into there is no ownership, is left where it is, but then we have coordinating agencies, the Zanzibar Planning Commission, that is supporting this. And in the mainland, we have this distributed model, but coordinated from the Ministry of Land. So what is the solution? We must have on both sides, on the mainland and on Zanzibar, that we must have a national spatial data infrastructure to act as a legal backbone, not just for technology, but also for the legal framework that will assist us in sharing and utilizing these important technologies for the betterment of our service provision to the citizen. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for that. Before we continue, I would like to invite on stage the most prestigious person, Dr. Hassan Mshinda, on stage, please. Hands of applause, please. He has done a very good job towards the ecosystem of Tanzania, and is a very, very instrumental person in our ecosystem. Now I would like to call another gentleman on stage, Surveyor Isaiah, who works at the Tanga City Council. He will take us through just haraka, what is being done in Tanga, and what are you doing to actually improve your revenue collection using geospatial data?
Thank you. Asante sana. Habarini za mchana, naitwa Isaiah Clement. By background ni surveyor na nafanya geospatial, lakini tunatumia pia technology. Tanga is the same as other LGAs. They have the same structure of organization, same structure of daily monitoring and everything. So, but what special thing we have a very humble gentleman over there and assisting us to achieve our goals. And one of the goals which we thought it was very useful for our city is to make the council in a digital form. How? In most of the LGAs, daily decisions are made. But what comes to be different This decision depends on data. So the good decision depends on the accuracy of the data, the readiness of the data, and the quality of the data which is used during decisions. So to overcome that problem, we come with a sort of having those data organized in a platform. It can be obtained quickly and it can be managed easily for better decision. So that is a platform ambayo tumejaribu kuitengeneza kwa kushirikiana na wataalamu wenzetu ambayo inatumika ndani ya jiji la Tanga, na kazi kubwa ni kukusanya taarifa, na mwanzoni ilianza kama prototype tu na ikawa na use case 3, ambayo moja ilikuwa ni spatial index, lakini nyingine ilikuwa inahusisha na solid waste, kwa kuna nyingine pia inahusiana na development control. Kwa hizi case use 3 ndio ambazo tulianza nazo kama prototype, kuona tunaweza kufanya operational na tunaweza kukusanya data for decision, lakini later on baadaye tuka proceed na kuimprove zaidi, tukaongeza another platform na tukatengeneza na app ya mkononi ambayo inaweza kusaidia kucollect data kama unavyoona hapo, inaitwa Gigi Smart. Kwa through this tuna customize aina ya data tunayotaka katika department gani na inaingia kwa utaratibu gani kulingana na variables kwenye hizo department ili iweze kufeed kwenye hiyo database. On top kwenye hii sasa tukaanza na idara 3 departments: health and social welfare, lakini tukawa tuna trade, na mwishoni tukawa tuna hiyo pre-primary na secondary schools. These are 3 departments ambazo tulianza nazo kwa maana ya kuexpand functionality, lakini later on ziko idara nyingi sana, more than 18, na hizi zote the focus ni kwamba ziingie kulingana na variables zake kwenye mfumo wetu. You can see hizi ni mifano ya data ambazo tayari zina flow kupitia ile app, na hizi data zinaweza kuwa interacted spatially na ukaona zimetoka kwenye source zipi, extent yake ikoje, ukaassess ubora wake, na ukazi integrate pamoja na data nyingine katika platform tofauti, platform za GS hata na zile za social, na ukapata integration yake na ukajua ukafanya decision. The most good thing, tulitaka hizi data zireport ile real time. Kwa hiyo tuka develop pia some dashboards ambazo hizo kuna some variables zinaweza zikareport status ya event fulani au status ya variable fulani automatic, au depending on the area or depending on the required coverage. And inaruhusu pia kufanya integration na system nyingine, kwa maana server iko connected na other GIS softwares. Most wengi mnaijua is QGIS, hata hizi nyingine zinazofanya operation ya geospatial. Kwa hiyo unaweza ukaintegrate kutoka kwenye server straight, ukafanya analysis, then uka present for decision making. And I can rush because I have muda mfupi. How does it started? Tulianza na need ya kufanya spatial planning ya mji kulingana na mahitaji. Sasa hii need ndio ikaelekeza kuibua sasa organization ya data, kwa sababu tulikuta kuna problems za organization ya data, na hatukufaulu wenyewe kwa kweli. Tulikuwa tuna mashirikiano makubwa na wenzetu About Now Foundation, lakini wako wataalamu kutoka sehemu nyingine ambapo walishiriki, Tanga Yetu Initiatives, D-Lab, na sasa tuko na wengine tunaendelea nao. Generally, thank you. Generally, tunaweza kuona tu umuhimu wa jinsi ambavyo matumizi ya data ambayo yamebadilishwa kwenda katika mfumo wa geospatial unarahisisha zaidi decision katika halmashauri zetu, na kwa njia hiyo inafanya maamuzi yawe ya haraka, yawe na ufanisi, lakini yawe ni bora kulinganisha na yale ambayo hayatumii taarifa ambazo zinaweza kupatikana katika real time. Asante sana.
Okay, so asante sana my panelist. Dr. Mshinda, wewe ni mtu mkubwa sana kwenye industry ya sio tu ya geospatial, lakini innovation, incubation, nurturing na katika kuibua vipaji. Tunapokuwa tunaielekea digital vision au Tanzania vision ya 2050, unaona vijana wana play part gani kuhakikisha tunaiattain the Tanzania $1 trillion economy?
Asante sana. Sifa zote hizo sio za kwangu na za watu ambao ndio kufanya nao kazi. Mojawapo ni George Mulamula, yule wa pale, yuko amekaa pale. Lakini kitu ambacho ni cha msingi cha kwanza tulichokuwa tunakifanya ni kuona namna gani technology itakavyotumika kusolve problems za society, na sio tu kupush technology bila kuunderstand the need. Kwa hivyo kitu cha kwanza tulichoanza nacho Tanga ni kwamba tulifika wakati ambapo mkurugenzi wa jiji alikuwa anapata challenge ya kuanzisha ya kusurvey eneo ambalo ili bomba la mafuta la Hoima mpaka Chongoleani litakapoweza kupita. Kwa pale tulipoanza kutumia drone, tukaona teknolojia ambayo ingefaa kuweza kugenerate data au kufanya mapping kwa kawaida au pictures, ilikuwa ni drone. Lakini pia tulikuwa na interest ya kuangalia jiji nzima, ambapo tulifanya kazi tena na George pamoja akiwa na World Bank, tukaanza kutafuta kuangalia satellite images ambazo za maeneo yale ambayo yako nje. Lakini interest yetu kama anavyosema ilikuwa ni namna gani ambayo ni aim ya project kuwa create opportunities for youth, especially innovators. Wakati wa kufanya hizi mapping exercise ambazo wamezionyesha, tukaamua tuchukue vijana partly wanatoka Ardhi University na wengine walikuwa wanatoka Tanga, wakafundishwa kufanya mapping. Baadaye kabisa wengine wakatengeneza kampuni yao wao wenyewe, wakawa wanawasaidia halmashauri kwa ajili ya kuwa train wafanyabiashara kutumia Tausi system. Na Tausi system kama mnavyojua inasaidia pia katika kuidentify properties, lakini pia kwa ajili ya revenue collection. Kwa hivyo hiyo ikatusaidia kuboost revenue collection ya Tanga ya City Council. Na baada ya project kuisha, wale vijana waliendelea kutumiwa pamoja na halmashauri. Kwa hivyo kama tunazungumza digital transformation, tunapozungumza 2050, kwangu mimi naona ni opportunity kubwa sana kwa vijana kuweza kupata ajira, hata ajira zenyewe za muda mfupi. Mara nyingi tukikaa tukizungumza sisi wenyewe, tunazungumza kama vile ni tuko peke yetu, lakini nje kule kuna vijana wengi ambao wangeweza kufanya kazi hizi za digitization, ambazo tungeweza kuanza kufikiri hivi sasa namna gani wanaweza kutumika kwa ajili ya kufanya digitization ya the whole system. Hiyo tungekuwa pia tuna create jobs, sio tu technology kwa ajili ya create efficiency, lakini pia ni swala la kuweza kuona kwamba namna gani tuta create jobs nyingi zaidi. Na mimi naamini kwamba zipo opportunities nyingi sana, kama watu wa halmashauri, watu wa ardhi na wengine wakikaa na hawa developers, tunaweza kutengeneza solution nyingi.
Asante sana daktari. Makofi tafadhali. Okay, wakati tunaelekea mwisho mwa paneli yangu, daktari amezungumzia vijana kuwapa fursa na kuangalia fursa zilizo nje ya ecosystem ya geospatial. Nataka nimkaribishe on stage Mr. Neil Baker, who is doing geospatial intersection with biodiversity. In a few minutes, he will tell us how many people do birding and what is the market value of this ecosystem. About hapo hapa ndani, they can try to venture into that industry.
for me? Just stop that for a moment. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, everybody's still awake. That's good. Now, thinking 25 years into the future had me thinking about 25 years in the past. My first in-car phone in the UK was the size of a Matofali Nyakundu and just as heavy. My first internet connection in Tanzania was a dial-up on West Kilimanjaro 25 years ago. And there we go. Sorry about that. And we had to drive into Moshi to download any large files. And now, only 25 years later, I'm sitting in Iringa with TTCL fiber, 55,000 shillings a month unlimited. So myself and all my staff have 24/7 internet, and it's good quality. We've come a long way in 25 years. And I'm intrigued as to see where it might be in another 25. I'll be 100 then, so I might not be around to share it with you. Now, where are my slides? Yeah, I need my slides now. I'm going to talk about biodiversity. Biodiversity underpins all life on Earth, and it's not been mentioned so far in this conference. So I use birds to define biodiversity. Hold on a moment, some last-minute instructions.
There are no slides. I just want to on the.
What do you mean there's no slides? Oh, come on. I've 20 slides and you won't let me show them. So I've been collecting bird data here for 45 years. And it's not just data. When you're in the natural history business, then you're always thinking conservation. And so I publish. So this is a book about the important bird areas in Tanzania. And all IBAs are considered critical habitats by the World Bank and IFC. So anybody wanting to do EIAs, anybody wanting to do mining in any of these areas, they have to consider these sites. We are 29,000 people on our Facebook group. Bird watching around the planet is a $40 billion a year industry. Tanzania is very, very important in terms of Africa. More species here, more diversity here than other African countries. Now, I'm not quite sure. It won't let me show any slides because I'm going to be out of time. So what more would you like me to say without pretty pictures? I'm listening to the boss here now.
Okay, you can talk about the last question that we had, the last conversation.
About
how many people do birding?
I've said that already. Okay. Pay attention. Well, he won't let me show any slides, so I can't bore you with all these wonderful maps that I've been producing for the last 20 years. Is that me done? So, sorry about that.
Maybe you can sit there. Okay, so as we wind up this panel discussion, do we have a question from the audience? Do we have a question from the audience? There are no questions? Okay.
I'm curious as to the biodiversity you've been doing. Have you used any digital tools in order to create your biodiversity within the areas that you have been? Can you pass down the microphone? Yeah.
Of course, I started with pen and paper.
Right.
And all our early maps are just copies from the 1 to 50,000 sheets. But like everybody else, we now use a phone.
So what do you use now?
We have an app on the phone for recording data.
Ah, that's the information
We
we're
have an
looking for.
app on the phone for identifying birds visually. We have an app on the phone for identifying birds by song. And hundreds of people send me data. They export a CSV file. I change it to XLS. I put it into my database. I clean it up. And I add it to the 1.6 million records that I've got on the database. And I use those to define maps, to build maps of Tanzania, which he won't let us show.
Don't worry about it. So we get the idea now. So then the maps that you build, are they open to the public?
Yes, they are gradually, they get added to our website. And of course, they'll be published eventually.
Can you tell us the website? Just tell us the URL, www.
It's TanzaniaBirdAtlas.net.
Okay. So, and how does that link to the community in terms of using? You have a community of practice then, of people who give you information. What feedback do you give to them? And does the community around where you live also benefit from that?
All right. Well,
using digital tools.
So the website's completely free and open. And on the website, we produce a species list for every quarter square degree in the country. So wherever you live, we provide you with a species list of what birds you can expect. And this provides baseline data for anybody wanting to study any forests, lakes, any habitat at all.
Thank you, which means you're helping us in the tourism sector, in the bird watching area, which now that can be utilized to bring people into the country.
Yes.
And help the communities that are there.
Yes.
Fantastic. Back to you.
Okay, so I'm going to start from Mr. Neil Baker. As the departing thoughts, what message would you give to the cloud? What message would you want the people that are listening to you today to take it home with them regarding the Tanzania Digital Vision 2050, regarding biodiversity? Just one sentence?
Well, clearly that we are collecting data, and we're collecting good data, and we validate the data. It's georeference data. So scientists are using this and satellite-derived variables to do research. Now, we have a lot of data, and I'm totally convinced that AI will be used to analyze this data in the future, perhaps even in the near future.
Okay, thank you. Isaiah, what message would you want the people that are listening to you right now to just take it with them?
Ya kwa halmashauri zote, in fact hata ile ambayo mimi nafanyia kazi, once you heard about halmashauri, it's all about decisions. Now when it comes to decision, no better decision if you don't have data. And not only data, the quality, the source of your data, and what time are you getting it. Kwa hiyo kwa halmashauri nyingi unaweza ukakuta fulani hayupo, then we cannot make this decision. Lakini on the other side, daily activities halmashauri ni production ya data every second. But how is it managed? How is it stored? How is it organized for better decision? Kwa hiyo my take ni kwamba every council should adopt a new system of collecting, managing, and making decisions based on accurately and quickly available data. Thank you.
Yes.
Kitu ambacho ni muhimu sana, pamoja na kutengeneza fursa kutumia teknoloji kutengeneza fursa za vijana kwenye first part ya digitization. Hatutaweza kwenda kwenye digitalization na kuexploit potential ya hizi new emerging technologies kama artificial intelligence, kama kama hatuna data. Na tuna data ziko kwenye different forms. Kwa hivyo tunaweza tukawa na competitive economy ikiwa tuki-embrace technology. Hatuwezi kuwa na competitive economy kwenye manufacturing. Hatuwezi kuwa na manufacturing ambayo na yenyewe imeshabadilika. Ukiangalia hizi teknoloji zote zinabadilika. Kwa hivyo bahati mbaya hayupo Mama Kilama, Brandina Kilama. Na hii tungeweza kudiscuss naye. Tunapozungumza 2050, lakini kule ndani hauna zile steps za digitization and then digitalization, ambapo tunge create hizo space za kutosha. Na kwa rafiki yangu hapa kwenye biodiversity, for the biodiversity, I think Commission for Science and Technology is the custodian of national biodiversity databases. And they have been collecting this for many, many years. So it's good also to liaise with them. I'm sure that there are a few things which are missing in that in terms of the geospatial. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Zaharan, do you see geospatial driving the digital economy?
Yes, as we have been discussing, or as a theme of this conference, that Dira 5050, yamekuwa yakitajwa mambo kama digital twins. We've heard about digital twin and what's the other, smart cities. So this is the vision. So in 2050, kwa wale wanaopanga kuwepo, in most cases itakuwa vijana, you should take GIS and spatial technologies seriously, because that is the foundation. You need to have a location of all these things in order to create smartness into our cities, but also to replicate and do the digital twins of most of the things, our agencies and our cities as well. So in that instance, I call up that apart from the efforts that the government is taking into mainstreaming GIS into all sectors, personally, individually, all the our youth that are going to see the 2050 vision should take GIS seriously and start implementing it. The technology now, it's so easy for anyone to adopt, not just surveyors. Thank you very much.
Okay, and Curtis, what is your take? Where do you see, what are the next steps that you see Tanzania should take to achieve the $1 trillion in vision in 2050? Just in a few words.
So cities and rapid urbanization unfolding not just across Tanzania, but across the continent and across most of the global south over the next several decades, they can be magical things. Rapid urbanization historically has resulted in very fast, very sizable increases in income, in education, in well-being. So it can go immensely well. It can also go really, really badly if it's not well managed, right? There are downsides to density. Crime can increase, congestion can increase, people can spend hours in traffic every day, contagious disease spreads easily in cities. So we need to figure out ways to manage these downsides such that we can take advantage of the upsides that come with rapid urbanization. Dar es Salaam is going to be the second or third largest city on the planet by the end of this century. That can go amazingly well. One of the things that will be required for that to go amazingly well is you need revenue to pay for the needed urban infrastructure that will house, that will provide power, that will provide education and health to these burgeoning urban populations. The single best way throughout history that municipalities and cities have paid for this urban infrastructure during their rapid urban transition has been land and property taxation. Why? Because when cities are rapidly urbanizing, property values and land values go up immensely, right? And so if we find ways to capture that value and channel it in back to needed public investments, urbanization is going to go really well. There are proven models to do this. I went over one of these approaches in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, you know, it has lower incomes than Tanzania. It has poorer governance indicators than Tanzania. It is less educated than Tanzania. It was able to 5x revenue. Tanzania has a clear model, and I'm convinced that if cities take it up with gusto, we can pay for this needed urban infrastructure that's required.
Okay, that was 50 sentences. Okay, so we have heard from my beautiful and great panel. I would like you to give a round of applause to my panel. And please, if I ask you to stand up and maybe photo something.
Every note, every sigh takes me back to our goodbye. Oh, urban nights, take me slow. Let the memories fade, let them go. One more round, one more tune. Still drowning beneath this silver
Thank you for the panelists. We now go to this second to last session, and this is the Digital Kilimo Roundtable at the national level. So this is about Tanzania feeding Africa by 2050. Can I ask Mr. Obey, is he here? To come forward, please. Ms. Rhoda, please come forward. And then they have their own moderator, Peace Magere, Peace Supo. So for this session, I'm going to hand over to Peace.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our interesting session, whereby tutaangalia kilimo kwenye national level. Quickly, by introducing myself, for the sake of my targeted audience, I'm going to use both languages, and same applies to my panelists. My name is Peace Magere. I work as an economist at ICT Commission, but also I'm a director of youth initiative at Kilimo Roundtable Africa. Mimi ni mkulima pia, nina experience ya miaka 8, nina eka 300 mkoani Manyara, wilaya ya Babati, kijiji cha Maweni. Kwenye screen ni picha zangu zinaonyesha nikiwa shambani, hapo zingine zinaonyesha nikiwa China, lakini pia nina eka 100 mkoani Morogoro, kule nashughulika na mpunga. Ila Manyara nalima mtama mweupe na export kwenda South Sudan. South Sudan wanautumia kama substitute ya mahindi, wanakula ugali wa mtama. Lakini pia nina experience ya kufanya biashara ya mazao na nchi nyingine kama Kenya, China na United States of America. Well, I would first love to get straight to the point. Nikianza na Mr. Obey Aseri. This is the CEO of Uchumi Institute of Policy and Social Research, but also a professional economist with over 20 years of experience in leadership, international development, and food system policy. Mr. Aseri, would love to hear digital transformation inasaidia nini kwenye agriculture kutusaidia Tanzania kuelekea kuwa kapu la chakula Africa by 2050. Karibu.
Asante sana Peace na wasalimu wote participants. I'm glad to be here. And when I was coming in, I found everybody, or most of us, we had the plates on our table. And also our presenters our demographics are showing us youth are the many in the economy. So how do you make them, fall in love with the agriculture? So we see technology as the most important thing of pulling the agriculture in the value chain. And since the agriculture is a very long value chain, from the input market, from the seed or breeding system, we need technology, right? From the, planting, agromechanization, and all that, we need technology. And including marketing and so on. To date, the markets are becoming very sophisticated. As we say, we want to feed Africa and play a major role in the global food markets. We need the markets. The markets need to trace where did this produce or product comes from. If it says any problem, you are able to trace it. So the market technology becomes very important component of, reaching the global and the regional market. So my point is looking at the DERA framework from foundation to the roof. It takes the framework is like a house. The foundation where we need peace, stability, and governance. We need good policies that really make technology, part and parcel of our life. Make investment in that sector is important. We need governance that allows, and it is there already, allows the equitable accessibility of resources. When we are talking the other day when I was here, one of the panelists was asked, what do we need the most for the technology to become bread and butter of our daily life? He said we need internet. So we need infrastructure, equitable infrastructure to reach where the agriculture is taking place, but all along the value chain. Then the DERA is supported by pillars. We've been talking, Dr. Hassan was talking up here about manufacturing. How do we become competitive if the technology is not, going with the speed we want? We have another pillar of human capability. We need human capability that is able to produce in the agriculture. Then there was the issue here of biodiversity, where it is in the third pillar on the environmental integrity and the issue of climate change. So these are really important. And all that tells us for us to keep our environment nicely, maintaining biodiversity, we need technology that allows productivity and as well creating jobs. I said about the market sophistication. In the EU market today, you cannot maybe access the market where you obtain your produce from, clearing land in some value chain. So what do you do in order not to do that? We need technology that really give us the more product in a less area. So we have to, it is really you guys, the gurus in the technology, to use the opportunity. It is money, it is the business, it is the agriculture led technology which can solve the problem, create job, and give the innovators money. We need, my brother from Tanga was saying here, the real-time data to make decision and for policy processes. So how do we get data? How do we use non-traditional data sources? You know, we are talking of using a real-time administrative data. We need apps, we need gadgets, we need systems that make data available for me. Okay, you do the agriculture survey maybe last year. By the time you release the results, they are maybe outdated. As an investor, I need data today, which will make me to make decisions to invest in the agri sector. So I think, to me, we need all that. How do you use the big data? We've been talking here of geospatial and all that. I'm not a guru in that, I'm just a policy guy. So, but we need really to also, for you to do that, we need some good policies to make investment friendly for innovators and to make things. So we can reach the targets. I'm sure we can do that, but you have a big role to play. And technology in the DIRA is taken as one of the drivers. There are other many drivers, energy, financial services, but all this requires really to drive. I was talking about the blue economy. We need to trace the fishing industry there. All of that, to me, is the technology which we need to do. Peace, that's what I can say for now. Then we can interact later.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Mr. Bay. This is now to Ms. Rhoda Magoiga, CEO wa Mwana wa Afrika na Kilimo Roundtable Africa. Kampuni yako ya Mwana wa Afrika ikiwa miongoni mwa kampuni bora kabisa Tanzania kwenye kusambaza mbolea. Tunaona umeweza kuwafikia wakulima takriban 120,000 na agro dealers 800. Naomba utuambie ni kwa namna gani unatumia teknolojia kwenye shughuli zako za kila siku, lakini ukiwa kama mwanzilishi wa hii digital platform ya Kilimo Roundtable Africa, tunatamani kujua unasaidiaje jamii ku-create digital agricultural jobs, especially kwa women and youth. Karibu.
Asante sana Pisi Magere. Kwetu sisi kama wanufaika au watumiaji wa hii mifumo, kwa kweli inatusaidia sana kuhakikisha tunapata the real time data ambayo inatusaidia kufanya maamuzi kwa wakati sahihi, lakini pia inatusaidia kucompliance na mamlaka ya mbolea Tanzania, kwa sababu huu mfumo unaondoa visababishi ambavyo vinaweza vikatupelekea kuvunja sheria ama kuleta upotevu wa fedha katika mnyororo wa thamani wa kilimo. Kwa hiyo huu mfumo, kwa sababu uko integrated kutokea bandarini tangu mzigo unaingia mpaka mtumiaji wa mwisho aliyoko kule Wanging'ombe. Kwa hiyo tunaamini huu mfumo pia unaweza ukaunganishwa na mamlaka kama ya mapato TRA na ukaweza kuondoa a lot of workload in the system, na sisi watumiaji tukawa tumepunguziwa majukumu, kwa sababu huu mfumo una taarifa zote kutoka mwanzoni. Lakini si hivyo tu, tukirudi kwenye Kilimo Roundtable Africa, sisi kama wadau wa Kilimo Roundtable, baada ya mazungumzo kama haya yanayofanyika mahali hapa, huwa tunakaa na kuwakutanisha wadau meza moja, kama nilivyosema hapo siku ya kwanza, watoa maamuzi ambao ni serikali, watunga sera kama wakina Mzee Ubei, lakini pia tunakuwa na wakulima ambao ni watumiaji, lakini tunakuwa na enabler ambao ni mabenki, mashirika yasiyokuwa ya kiserikali. Kwa tunapokaa meza moja tunajadiliana namna gani kijana anaweza kutengenezewa mazingira rafiki na kumfanya awe sehemu ya kufanikisha maono yetu ya Tanzania Feeding Africa ifikapo 2050, lakini pia namna gani Tanzania inaweza ikawa kapu la chakula. Kwa hiyo tunakaa pale tunazungumza na vijana, wanatuambia we Peace ukiwa mmoja wa Kilimo Roundtable Youth, mnatuambia ni kwa nini vijana hamtaki kuingia kwenye kilimo, ni mazingira gani yanatakiwa kuboreshwa. Kwa hiyo kama hawa BizTech waliounda mfumo wa mamlaka ya mbolea Tanzania, na huo mfumo unatumika na serikali na ukakubaliwa na umepata tuzo ya 3 nchini Afrika, barani Afrika. Kwa hiyo tunaamini kuna vijana wa Tanzania wengi ambao wanaweza wakaleta uvumbuzi kwenye swala la teknolojia, na tukalima na tukafanya kilimo ambacho ni kikubwa, ambacho tunakwenda kulisha Afrika ifikapo 2050. Na kama tumeambiwa tuingize bilioni 20 kama wadau wa kilimo kwa kusafirisha nje mazao yatokanayo na kilimo. Hatutarajii kama alivyosema Mr. Ubey, mkulima wa Tanzania inaonekana na miaka 65. Kwa hiyo hatuamini kama huyu mzee wa miaka 65 anaweza akalisha Afrika. Kwa hiyo tunatamani vijana wawe sehemu ya value chain, lakini kwa sababu sisi wazee hatuwezi kuadapt kwa haraka teknolojia, sasa ni wakati wa vijana kuingia. Kwa hiyo tunafanya hizo tracking na kuona ni vijana wangapi wameingia, na tunapokutana Kilimo Roundtable ijayo tunakuwa tumeshapata idadi ya vijana ambao wameingia kwenye value chain. Kwa hiyo kazi kubwa ya Kilimo Roundtable pia ni kutrace, lakini pia kusherekea kilimo na kutambua wale wamama ambao wako kwenye value chain kule vijijini wanaofanya kazi kubwa. Saa nyingine haionekani, lakini wanafanya kazi kubwa ambayo inalisha taifa, lakini inalisha jamii zetu. Asante.
Well, to my audience, nakaribisha maswali. This is an interactive session. Karibu. Nakaribisha maswali 3 kama sio 4. Karibuni. Mtu wa mic naomba unisaidie.
Asante. Naitwa Jason kutoka ICT Commission. Asante kwa presentation na session nzuri. Kama hii forum mnavyoonyesha ya mambo ya ICT, na wote tunatambua mchango mkubwa wa kilimo kwenye maendeleo, na ICT is just a tool ya kuwezesha sekta nyingine kama hivyo kilimo na nyinginezo. Tuna changamoto moja ya effectiveness na how best to use this tool. Inawezekana watu wa ICT wengi hawajui processes za kilimo. Kwa unapotengeneza tool unarahisisha processes, business process fulani. Kwa mwenye ile business process yeye ndo anakuwa mtaalamu zaidi wa kumuelewesha anayetengeneza tool aweze kutengeneza mashine ile ya kurahisisha kazi. Kwa hiyo kumekuwa na trend ya kwamba tunaiongea ICT inarahisisha, lakini probably labda tunawaachia sana watu wa ICT ndio waje na solutions, wakati mtu namba 1 wa kuaddress tatizo ili ICT iweze kusolve solution kwenye context ya kilimo ni mkulima kwanza. Yani kuna role kubwa ya consumer aje aeleze mimi na changamoto 1, 2, 3 and how can ICT address this. Sasa inakuwa kama wanasema, inakuwa more of a push kuliko a pull. Kwa hiyo hata speed ya adoption ya technology kwenye sekta kama kilimo, speed yake inakuwa ndogo kwa sababu hakuna, ni mtazamo wangu, I stand to be corrected, hakuna mwamko kwa upande wa yule mtumiaji kuiona kama hii inaweza ikawa tool au aweze kuexpose matatizo yangu mimi, business process yangu kuanzia kilimo, kununua mbolea, kuandaa shamba, kuvuna na nini. How can ICT do this? sijui tunafanya initiative gani kuwaelimisha upande mwingine waione kama ICT ni inaweza ikawa a problem solver and reliable solution ya kurahisisha business process na kuenhance productivity kwenye kilimo.
Asante. Swali la pili. Basi kama hakuna, naomba tuendelee. Nitamkaribisha Mr. Obey Aseri atusaidie kujibu kwa sababu amekuwa kwenye ngazi ya kitaifa, lakini pia na yeye ni mkulima, hajataka tu kusema. Sasa tusaidie kujibu hili swali, ni initiative gani ambazo zipo ambazo zitatusaidia kujua kuwa ICT ndio inaweza ikatusaidia tukapata masolutions zetu kwa urahisi. Karibu Mr. Aseri.
Asante. Jackson, nakushukuru sana. You have really diagnosed the problem. Na ili kwenye ndio watu tunasemaga wakati mwingine soko linafeli, sio? Kuna solution, alafu kuna mtu anahitaji pengine, na pengine zile demand na supply curve hazikutani, si ndio? That's a typical problem kwenye sekta nyingi na kwenye maeneo mengi. Na wakati naweka some context hapa ya numbers, nilijaribu kuonyesha hata average age ya mkulima wetu ambaye kwa kweli ni sisi wenyewe wazee, na nilisoma mahali sijui kama hiyo sijasoma nani mpya kama imebadilika, walikuwa nasema there is a negative correlation between age and adoption of technology. I read it somewhere. So hilo ni swala ambalo nimeambiwa lipo kitaalam kwamba as you get old, even me I'm seeing myself with my children, kuna vitu nimewaachia kabisa. Sasa naomba mnisaidie ili bana mimi I don't want to learn new things is. Kwa hiyo kuna hilo, kuna aging farming population, lakini ndio maana nasema how do we make young people fall in love with agriculture. Na katika miaka michache ambayo tumekuwa tunaimba huu wimbo, nimeanza kuona a lot of that coming and it is changing. Kuna vijana wanao develop masuluhisho ambayo ni farmer based. Unakuta farmer wana demand kwamba tunahitaji kupata solution kama hii, na increasingly wale especially young people au wale wazee ambao sio conservative sana wanaona kwamba hiki kitu kinaanza kusaidia. Kwa hiyo nadhani nikiangalia jinsi dira ilivyoweka teknolojia na digital transformation kama really enabler, na sasa itakavyotafsiriwa kwenye mpango wa miaka 5 and subsequently katika local government level, itaweza kutumika kama njia ya kufikia community kuanza kubadilika. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, hii inayosema ku-incentivize vijana. Round table kama hiyo anayosema Roda hapa, tuwaite vijana tuwaambie guys there is an opportunity here. There's an opportunity from so many angles. Na tusiwaambie vijana tu pisi ni jasiri kweli kwenda kule kwenye lower value chain. Sasa vijana anaweza kuingia hapa, mimi na supply input market akawa na digital system yake ya kutrace mambo yanavyokwenda kila siku. Roda anayo kila siku, jioni anapata mfumo wake umeuza mbolea kiasi gani, So kwenye value chain kuna so many issues where the young people can come, and that will change the way they will demand to change according to technology. Kwa sababu si wengine tumeona computer uzeeni, watoto wetu wamezaliwa, they are seeing. So it's changing the way we think and the way we approach things. Kwa hiyo just to interact on that.
Thank you Mr. Aseri. Labda kwa nafasi ya upendeleo, CEO wa Kimo Roundtable, naomba utuambie kama una chochote cha kuchangia kwenye hilo, sababu wewe ndio umeweza kutukusanya vijana. Juzi tulikuwa na digital platform for youth, na sasa hivi tayari tuna vijana takriban 2,500. Ila mimi kama mimi kwenye social media page yangu nina vijana takriban 78,000. Sasa hiyo ni rate kubwa, na page yangu inaongelea issue za kilimo na uchumi, professional yangu tu. Tusaidie hapo kidogo.
Asante sana Pisi. Mi wito wangu kwa wakulima wa Tanzania, kama wadau wa kilimo tumepewa kwanza dira, kila mtu ndio msaafu anaotembea nao. Kwa hiyo kama tasnia ya kilimo tumepewa kucontribute dola bilioni 100. Sio kazi ndogo. Sio kazi ndogo, kwa hiyo tunahitaji kuweka nguvu zetu pamoja. Tunahitaji kuleta teknolojia kuanzia kwenye low value chain mpaka upper value chain. Kuanzia kwenye kupima udongo mpaka kwenye kuhifadhi mazao. Kwa hiyo tunataka tukisema Tanzania tuna tani milioni 1 za mahindi, tujue zinapatikana maeneo gani. Wizara ya Kilimo imefanya kazi kubwa sana ya kujenga vihenga, lakini tunahitaji wawekezaji zaidi kwenye tasnia ya kilimo. Wakatujengee cold room kule Njombe, watuletee magari ya kusafirisha viazi visioze. Kwa hiyo kwenye agriculture infrastructure value chain kuna opportunity nyingi sana ambazo watu wanaweza wakawekeza na tukanufaika wote, lakini kwenye maeneo kama irrigation. Kwa hiyo tuna fursa nyingi kwenye tasnia ya kilimo ambayo Watanzania wanaweza wakawa sehemu ya fursa hizo, na sisi tukatimiza malengo ya dira 2050. Huo ndio wito wangu, lakini hatuwezi kufanya wenyewe pasipo kushirikiana kwa pamoja, lakini pasipo vijana kuingiza miguu yote miwili kwenye agriculture.
Asante. So to wind up, the major things ambavyo vimeelezewa, tumesikia kama Mr. Seri ametuelezea zile 3 major pillars, lakini pia ametuelezea digital transformation ambavyo yenyewe ndo main implementer wa hizi core pillars kwenye dira yetu ya maendeleo ya taifa ya 2050. Lakini tumeona kwenye sessions zilizotangulia umuhimu wa data, na hapa tumesikia pia kwamba kwenye kilimo tunahitaji kuwa na data au tunazo. Ndio maana taasisi yake inaitwa Uchumi Institute of Policy and Social Research. Mliokuwepo mnakumbuka nilisema tuifanya study mwaka jana mikoa yote ya Tanzania kuangalia sisi kama vijana, je, tunazijua sera za nchi? Je, tunashirikishwa? Kama tunategemea sisi ndo tuje kututake over, then it means hata kwenye sera lazima tuwe tunahusishwa. Lakini pia cha mwisho tumeona kumbe Kilimo Roundtable inafanya tracking ya vijana ambao wanajiunga kwenye mnyororo mzima wa thamani, which is very good kwa sababu takwimu zinatuonyesha takriban 65% ya nguvu kazi ya taifa wako kwenye kilimo. And before I wind up, I would like to thank my boss, DG wa ICT Commission, Dr. Mwasaga, on behalf of Kilimo Roundtable na Uchumi Institute, would like to say thank you. Umetupa nafasi ya kuonyesha ni nini kinafanyika kwenye kilimo kwenye ngazi ya taifa, lakini pia Jumatatu tulionyesha kwenye eneo la wanawake na pia vijana. Tunashukuru sana. Asanteni.
Asante Madam Moderator. Simameni hapa kwa ajili ya picha before we go to the last session, which is, to me, the last session is very exciting. The last session inahusiana na kama ungekuwa unatumia AI, ingekuwa inaitwa predictive artificial intelligence. Please give them a hand, please, for their wonderful presentation. Can I call Mr. George Wanga to come forward, please? Anazungumzia digital economy, grand strategy of Tanzania, how to leverage the systems of the nation as a diplomatic tool. Kwa hiyo ile grand strategy ile kidogo inaenda kwenye foresight analysis. Karibu. Afu una jina langu pia wewe mwanzo eh? Then we'll have don't worry about it. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, yeah. I can wait. Oh, yeah, I can see it. Okay, sure. All right. Use this.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I know you guys are tired. It's been a long day, but please just bear with me. It will be short, but I'll make it meaningful. So my name is George Wanga, and I am I'm a geopolitical strategist. And today I'll be sharing with you, I'll be talking about the topic Digital Economy Grand Strategy of Tanzania, how to leverage the digital systems of the nation as the diplomatic tool. First, I will start with a quote from one of my role models. His name is Brian Soares. He's a digital analyst and digital economy author who notes that the digital economy is not about technology. Here, you get to see it. The digital economy is not about technology. It's about people. And this goes well with our digital economic grand strategy of 2024 to 2034, which reflects this principle by prioritizing citizen-centric, which national systems that not only drive domestic transformation, but also serve as instruments of regional integration and digital diplomacy, whereby in the context that if the national digital platforms, if used effectively, they can become the new factories of economic value and diplomatic influence. So just in brief, we know in order for the digital economy to be successfully, there should be 6 core pillars, which are digital skills and human capital, digital security and trust, of which this, to me, to my view, this is the most cornerstone pillar for digital economy. And there's digital telecommunication services, digital research, innovation, and entrepreneurship, plus the digital platforms and technology. So what is grand strategy? So grand strategy is the highest level and long-term plan that a nation uses to achieve major goals. It might be information, it might be it might be intelligence, it might be politics, it might be economics, and also diplomatic relations. So today we're focusing on more of diplomatic relations. So in Tanzania, we're lucky. We're one of the few countries that we have the digital economy framework. Ours is 10 years digital framework, which was launched in July 2024 by Our Excellence Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, whereby the main pillars of this digital of our digital economy framework was enabling digital infrastructure, governance and enabling environment, digital literacy and skills development, digital innovation and enabling technologies, digital inclusion and accessibility, and digital financial services. Here are the pillars. So, in Tanzania, we do have a couple of systems whereby we all know, we're all aware of the NIDA, the National Identity Authority, and the Government Electronic Payment Gateway, GEPG. And we do have mobile money and digital financial ecosystems. We do have the Tanzania Revenue Authority, digital taxi systems. And we do have the business registration and licensing agencies, online systems, the better one. And we do have the IGA platforms and digital trade and investment portals and the national health digital systems. So if these systems, if they are really used very well, they can be very instrumental when it comes to diplomatic relations. So I come to the core part of my presentation today. Now, we already have the systems in place, of which these systems, other countries like other fragile states, they don't have these systems. Now, for us, we are very lucky to have them. Now, how can we leverage the digital systems that we have as a diplomatic tool? My first point here would be shifting from aid diplomacy to capability diplomacy. Let's first start by understanding these two narratives. First, this aid diplomacy is more of like we lack resources and we need funding. And the relationship here is not, it's more of like a donor to a recipient relationship. And this positions us as a country as a weak country. So vis-a-vis the capability diplomacy is we have the systems that we have already seen here that other states don't have, but for us, we are lucky we have them. Now, we approach the person who is capable of, let's say, giving funding to us, but for them to be our partners now. We're not seeking aid from them. So that's the main difference between the aid diplomacy and capability diplomacy. And this positions us as a country as we are, it puts us in a way like we're capable, not as a weak country. So, first of all, Tanzania, in order to move from aid diplomacy to capability diplomacy, Tanzania must identify what it can offer, not what it needs. And we have proven capability when it comes to mobile money interoperability. The regulatory, first let me stick there to mobile money interoperability. Our mobile money M-Pesa, our mobile money wallets, I mean, they've been really they're doing good, like in our region, like the M-Pesa, Azam-Pesa, Halo-Pesa, and we've proven capability in that. So the digital ID, we have the NIDA, we have the GEPG, we have the IGA platform. So if this is been taken into consideration, it might be a good tool for diplomatic engagement with other countries. And how can we do this? If the country doesn't have the so-called national capability register, we do have the capability register from different institutions, agencies, and ministries, but we don't have, to my understanding, my research, we don't have, as a country, we don't have one national capability register. I think I would advise that should be put into consideration as the nation, and it can take us from one place to the other. So the other one would be the second point here. I mean, we can use the systems that we already have as a negotiation leverage with global firms. We know like Amazon, they have their so-called AWS, Oracle. They do have the Oracle. They have also their platform, their cloud platform. We can engage them now, since we already have our digital systems. Though, so this puts us in can put us in the negotiation table. Like we have something to brag with, like, hey, we do have this system, so can you guys come and can we work together? So the other will be the use of digital trust and stability as a foreign policy capital. Our country has a very good advantage whereby we have been politically stable. We have the political stability in our country. And the digital reforms that are taking place in the country right now and the strong regulations that we have, this can send messages to foreign countries that investors are welcome here and you guys can be safe if you come and invest and we partner together in our countries. So the other one would be we can repackage systems as a strategic national assets. We already have mobile money interoperability. We already have the government plays, the eager platforms, the broadband backbone and regulatory credibility. So we can package them as our national strategic assets. So we can turn also our systems into strategic narratives. We can come up with something like Tanzania is not digitizing to catch up. It is digitizing to connect Africa. That's a very strong narrative, which if a partner coming from a foreign country sees that, if like he or she might feel welcomed to come and partner with us in our country. So the other one is we can use the systems to strengthen our South-to-South cooperation, whereby our country can become a bridge state by offering affordable and adaptable systems, whereby we will share our development paths and to our ideal partners, which can position us as the regional leader when it comes to digital economy. So I started with the quote and I'll finish with the quote. From an American computer scientist, who says that the best way to predict the future is to invent it. Tanzania's task is not to catch up with this digital transformation. The best way to do it as the country is to invent a digital future that connects Africa and position our nation as a strategic digital leader. As a country, we don't need to wait for the future for a digital economy. We are already building it, and we have seen it all this week for a couple of 4 days. Different people coming to present the systems that we have and what needs to be done. And I think through our digital systems, inclusive financial systems, I think I would be in a position to say that we are on the right track. And that's how I made it short and meaningful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Karibu, sit down here. Let's have a quick talk. A short one as such. Thank you for the presentation. It's a strategy that we have to look at. If I remember correctly, Singapore has got something called the Singapore Corporation Enterprise. And this is a government agency that was set up. And what they do is they go around the world and give advisory services also in the digital sphere. It's a bit like the Tony Blair Foundation, how they advise governments and so forth. Now, in our sake, you have stated we need a global strategy. We are on the path, but we need to direct it in the right direction. So the question is, do we create something like the Singapore Corporation Enterprise to run this? Or should we go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who have got economic diplomacy strategy, whereby we utilize our embassies and high commissions that are outside the country to try and push the global strategy that we're talking about? How do you see this evolving?
That's a very good question. Thank you. And the way how I view that is more of like we have, as a nation, we have this narrative, which or this theory, to put it into sense, is called the economic diplomacy, right? And the one that's is responsible for that, and there's a very specific department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So as I gave an advice while I'm presenting here, there should be a national capability register, whereby this establishment of the national capability register will be used by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the embassies, TIC, Tanzania Investment Corporation, is now TISEZA, and the negotiation teams they can use that as they can use that when they're going to negotiate. It puts us in the table, like we can discuss now, because we know our capabilities. We already know, like, we're able to do this and we have these systems in place. So it helps us in the negotiation.
Yeah, true. And as, because this is all about digitalization, we have all the steering committees, but the key implementer and who follows up is the ICTC Commission. So they should be playing a big role, I think, in the whole global strategy of how we move about towards implementing a digital transformation agenda.
Yes. ICTC plays a very crucial role in enhancing the digital transformation in the country, and we have seen different people like coming here through their systems and the way how they're speaking like positively about the ICTC Commission. So it can still continue to play that role so that we can align with the Vision 2050 and can reach to a $1 trillion economy.
Thank you. Yaman, kuna swali? Is there a question from the audience? Hey, Yamani, no question. Hii global strategy which goes towards our finalization, naomba nisaidie microphone sasa hivi. It goes to the global strategy that charts the way forward for our country.
Thank you for a nice presentation. My name is Jason Angozi from ICT Commission. I was interested in the capability register. Yeah. If you deep dive to the history of most countries, they have either a cultural, mostly cultural, or liberation associated partnerships, which extends to wars and whatever, which has built that relationship and those capabilities and whatever. So is it something I may cite like Tanzania is missing and what should we do? Or is it something, how should we overcome in related to other countries which have such registers? And maybe I would appreciate if you would also cite one or two countries of lessons which Tanzania can learn from?
Okay.
Thank you.
So starting with the countries Tanzania can learn from, I don't know if you meant like in the world or in Africa, but I'll start by stating one of the European countries, which is a champion when it comes to digitalization, Estonia. You know, Estonia has the e-Estonia, if I'm not mistaken, and through that you see like it has helped pretty much in integrating all the systems in the country, because if you have the so-called e-Estonia, I know our country, we are heading to there, whereby we don't need to have different multiple cars or something. We'll have only one, like e-Estonia, whereby they can pay taxi through that. They can even use it as like a card to purchase goods and services in their country. And also they can use it in different ways. I mean, all this, the system is integrated into their platform. And as the country, we are heading to that direction. I'm not so sure about the Jamii number, if it's already like, has it been starting to be, oh, it is working, right? So I think we're heading on the right direction, and we will be like Estonia one day. And the other country to be, I think, not in Africa again, I would say Russia. They're also doing good, and we can also learn from them. Not putting aside the United States, they're also doing good in terms of digital economy. So I think I've answered your question, if I'm not. All right, thank you.
Thank you. One last question. Kamamna, we should wind up. Going once, going twice, going thrice. George, my namesake, thank you very much for this presentation. Thank you. It's been a learning. Please give a big hand to Mr. George Wanga. Now we take the final picture. And after. So to wind up, if I may please call on the DG of Tume Yetu ya Tehama, our host, to give us his reflection of the day. And tomorrow is the final day, it's a closing, it's going to be exciting. Karibu sana, DG. Huh? Tomorrow.
Welcoming the 10th anniversary.
I've been corrected. Tomorrow is welcoming the 10th anniversary of TAIC.
Exactly. We are not
Good.
closing.
Oh, we're not closing. No. This is endless. It's continuing and continuing and
Absolutely.
so forth. Okay, fine.
I think I'll speak over there. Thank you very much, Dr. Mulamula, for moderating this session. I think we can all appreciate that this TAIC has been slightly different because mainly of the vision that we have. It touched a lot of things. Most of us do remember in 2003, ICT was a supporting technology. The expert of ICT were having a specific task to support how office work, how office is networked. But what we are talking now, ICT is strategic. That is, it has moved from being a supporting to be a technology that actually is driving the growth of a company, a growth of a country, and things of that sort. And because of that, that's why we have peculiar sessions this time, like Digital Kilimo is very important. We do look
also in the area of grand strategy. Because if we aim for our economy to be competitive, regionally in Africa and in other places, the presentation, like the one that we had just from one of our own, George Wanga, is very important. It's important to understand the grand strategy of those countries which are competing with us in our digital economy. Do we have the capability, like the way he said? It is important for us to, have a digital capability registry of our country to know where the strengths are and use it as a diplomatic tool. So these are new types of sessions, and we strongly believe in the 10th anniversary of TAIC that is coming. We will start to expound these type of things to ensure that our conference is become vibrant, and the report of our conferences is the one that they provide input to all the instrument, all the strategy or initiative that we have as a country. So today we had a long day. We discussed about security, which is very important. It's one of the pillars of digital transformation. We always have to understand that security is more than cybersecurity. We have also to safeguard the trust, because we do want to onboard our people to our digital economy. Trust is a very important thing. We heard from the experts, the panel discussions, and this has been a good input for us. So tomorrow, like the way I told Dr. Mulamula, it's not the basically closing of TAIC. Instead, we are welcoming the 10th anniversary of TAIC, which is a special thing for us, because we have been together from TAIC #1 to where we have reached now. TAIC has an international image at this moment. So tomorrow we have number of presentations, and also we are having panel discussions. We'll be discussing many things, including how to measure the contribution of digital economy to the national GDP. We have number of presentations that has to do with space technology. And we'll hear from startups of Tanzania that they are using space technology to provide services to different organizations. And also we'll get presentation from AI in a customer-centric way. So there are a lot of exciting things that we are waiting for us tomorrow. And after that, we are going to have our closing ceremony. So tomorrow is an exciting day. I'm very thankful for you to be here with us up till now. And for those who are online, they have to join us tomorrow for the final day of TAIC 2026. So with these few words, I thank everyone. We have to get an evening tea, and then we'll see each other tomorrow. Thank you very much.